Did you know slavery still exists today? If your answer was no, well, it still does today. So you may be asking, well, what is modern-day slavery? It's quite easy, actually. Millions of men, women, and children are forced to lead lives as slaves. They're sold like objects and forced to work for little or no pay at all. There are many different types of slavery that affects millions of people in different ways. Bonded labor is when people are tricked into taking a loan for very little cost and that they have to repay the loan. The loan could be as small as medicine for a sick child. They have to repay their debt by working long hours, 24/7, for very little pay. They receive basic food and shelter, but they may never pay off the loan, which can be passed down for generations. There are also early and forced marriages, which is known to affect women and girls. These young ladies are forced to marry without choice, and the marriages usually make the women's lives miserable, along with physical violence that will happen to her. Another form of slavery is forced labor. Forced labor affects people who are illegally recruited by individuals, governments, or political parties in forced work. It is usually under a threat of violence or other penalties. There is also a type of slavery that is called slavery descendant. Slavery descendant is where people are either born into a slave class or from a group that society thinks that person should be used as a slave. It's not even fair to be born as a slave. Trafficking affects countries on every continent. It involves transporting people away from their communities and forcing them to work against their will, using violence. When children are trafficked, no violence needs to be involved, but simply transporting them into awful conditions. Slavery is also in the products we buy, like coffee and chocolate for an example. We love to eat and drink those products, but we should just be more careful when we do buy them. I'm not saying we should just stop buying them, but instead, look for the fair trade symbol. Then you'll know there's no slavery in your coffee or chocolate, and you will be able to enjoy it much more. We can make a difference. All you have to do is go to www.antislavery.org and click on the link What You Can Do. You can get a membership with Anti-Slavery, volunteer, donate, organize events, and have fun while you're trying to make a difference. Go to Anti-Slavery. There's so much you can learn and have fun while you're making a difference in our world today. One of these days we could put an end to slavery. We may not see it when we're alive, but it could happen hundreds of years later. Let's make a difference today.